Welcome to another edition of Great Health, Abundant Happiness, and Outrageous Love. Good morning, my love.
Good morning.
Hey, so we wanted to talk about collaborating with the universe today. And it's all about being impeccable with your words.
Right.
If you've read the 4 Agreements, great book. The first agreement is really being impeccable with your words, not only with how you talk about yourself, but how you talk about the world around you. We chatted about this a little bit this morning.
Right,
Yeah.
but it starts with yourself. And, I had this funny epiphany this morning when I woke up, and like almost every other morning when I wake up, I was cozy in my bed, all warm and cozy with sugar baby Jeffrey had already gotten out of bed, and I had to pee, right? How many of us wake up like that? And I had this conversation with myself. It's so silly, but it was such a huge epiphany. I had this little conversation with myself that said, I'm so cozy and warm in my bed, but I really do have to go to the bathroom. And I didn't want to get up because I didn't want to leave the cozy nest that I was in. I immediately had this shift that went from the reason that I have to go to the bathroom is that I filled my body with these amazing, beautiful nutrients yesterday. And my body took what it needed while I was asleep, and it's ready to eliminate the rest. And your body has this magical, miracle way of working to eliminate the toxins.
Yeah, that's great.
Which are in everything. They're just in our environment. We eat a very healthy way, but your body still eliminates not just the toxins, but what it doesn't need.
Right.
So all of a sudden, my entire conversation with myself, this is all this morning, right? My entire conversation with myself shifted from not wanting to get out of bed because I was cozy to, I'm so like enamored by the fact that my body did all this work on its own. I didn't tell it what to do. I didn't have to flip any switches. And I had a whole different perspective on getting out of bed, right? And getting rid of these toxins. And then I couldn't wait to get my morning cup of coffee and, start that process of, my body working on its own with nutrients all over again. And some people may say, oh, well, you're putting coffee into your body. Coffee is an antioxidant. So I had that whole beautiful conversation with myself instead of, I don't want to get out of bed because I'm all cozy.
Yeah, well, it's
Wild.
it's funny. It's a funny little example of what we're talking about being impeccable with your words. I mean,
Right.
so many people. The biggest mistake I'm going to start out with that people make in living your best life, manifesting your best life, is focusing on the lack. And so being impeccable with your words is watching what you're saying outwardly and also internally.
Right.
So, Karen's example is really like, hey, I probably should get up, for good reason, but I'd really rather stay in bed. When I was a young kid and got that first job, I was in Boston, and it was really cold, and maybe the night before, I was young, just out of college, could have had too much to drink the night before. I had to go into the office, and you got a choice. You can sit there and say, oh, I don't want to get out of this warm bed and go out into the cold. We were in an apartment, so the cars were all outside. You had to scrape for 15 minutes before you could even get in your car and drive it. And so you're going through all this in your brain. You could think about all these obstacles. You could think about all of the issues, or you can think about something great. And I don't know what triggered this in my life. I did follow a lot of great motivational speakers and listen to cassette tapes and all this stuff. So maybe that put me on the right path.
Mm-hmm.
But I would think, what do I have to look forward to today? What big deals are we working on? I was a sales guy. And if I didn't have a big deal going down or something like that, I would focus on that first warm cup of coffee with my friends in the office and how great it would be to see them. And I'd just jump out of bed and fly and get my day going. But the point is, you have to have this internal conversation as well as external conversation about the world around you. I mean, you can really create a positive atmosphere for yourself internally, but then also externally. Think about it. If you talk to the people around you negatively and you put them down or you offend them, and you create abrasiveness between the two of you and the other people around you, what kind of day is that, as opposed to a day where you're saying, hey, I like your tie, or great shoes, or wow, you got a great smile, or what a beautiful day it is, look at the blue sky. You know, think about those two paths you go down. Right. One you're having the most perfect day, the other one you're creating a lot of animosity and the opposite, a bad day.
Positive path, negative path.
Right.
And it's so simple. It's like gossiping. You know, gossiping, there is absolutely no value to you or anybody else in gossiping. The value is to the ego, and you're just feeding an ego. So that really doesn't have any value to you. It just has value to the ego, and we don't want to feed our egos, right?
Right.
And it's, you know, I love this. You know, some people will plan a vacation, and they'll say, oh, you know, with my luck, it's going to rain the whole time that, you know, I'm in the Bahamas.
Why would you ever say that?
Why would you ever say that? And you and I have always said, no matter where we go, the sun's going to shine. And guess what? If the sun doesn't shine and it rains, that's going to be awesome too. I'm going to love this storm. It's going to be the best storm. With my luck, the weather is going to be amazing. It's just as easy to say that, send that out to the universe, let the universe work with you, collaborate with you to excel at all of the positivity. Instead of, you could easily say, with my luck, the weather's going to be lousy, and you know, the whole time I'm on vacation. The universe will collaborate with you on that as well. So you have that choice to, you know, and bring it. You know how much I love love, so I like to bring everything to relationships. It's funny, if you watch our videos, Jeffrey brings a lot to business, and I bring a lot to relationships, because that's the way that our minds work on, you know, ideas, right? And how they work in business and how they work in relationships. So if you're saying to yourself, oh, well, with my luck, this relationship's going to end just like all the other relationships, that's what's going to happen, because the universe will collaborate with you on that. Called self-sabotage, and we have an entire series on that. So if that's you, watch self-sabotage, get yourself out of that, and then move on to this, where you are in collaboration in a positive way with the universe.
Yeah, you know, that's what I love about these videos. When I say collaborate with the universe, this is what the video is about. I was thinking about collaborating in all the good and creating the good in your life. Karen's absolutely right. If you want to collaborate on a disaster plan with the universe, that works just as well too.
Right.
It's whatever you focus on is what you get. The world works like a mirror. You know, basically it's reflecting back to you what you're putting out. The image you're putting out is coming back to you. That's the way it works. We've talked about it before. We call it a boomerang theory. Whatever you throw out to the universe comes back to you. So you're absolutely right.
I actually wrote that down, the same thing, that you know, the universe then, it conspires with you. And then I put right here the boomerang effect, collaboration. It's so funny because we're so on the same page. And then the other thing that I thought about when, you know, we were having this conversation this morning about this video that we're putting out right now, was that you want to put out to the world only those things that are that you want to be part of your world. So for example, Jeffrey and I made it very clear that divorce was never going to be an option for us. So be impeccable with your words. I can tell you that I rarely use that word unless I'm, you know,
just hearing you say it is, I know an alarm goes off in my head, because we are always working to be impeccable with our words. We said that early on. We would never vocalize the word, because you know, we're not going to focus on it. We're focused on the opposite of building a beautiful life. Right.
And the reason I'm bringing that up is that you know, we've been working with a lot of people lately, and for me, it seems like a lot of men who are very focused on not getting that deep into a relationship where they want to get married because of the concern that, well, if she leaves me, then I've done all this work, or I've created all this, this life and finances, and I don't want to give that up. And if that's the focus, and it's very hard to explain this to people, but if that's his focus, what he has to give up, then that is what the universe will collaborate with you. We decided right away, our focus was that we were going to be together forever. We actually merged our finances before we ever got married, and we did it willfully and excitedly because our focus has always been what we're building, and it has never been what we could lose. I mean, I don't even think about that. I used to have some women when Jeffrey used to travel a lot for business, and they used to say, "Don't you worry about Jeffrey traveling." And I remember the first conversation I had with this particular group of women was, well, this was after 9/11. I worry about 9/11 because Jeffrey was actually traveling in those areas during that time. And they're like, "No, not 9/11. Don't you worry about other women?" And it was just funny to me because the answer was, well, no. I mean, that never crosses my mind. And, I said back to him, no, if he found somebody that made him happier than he would be with me, then that's who he should be with. But it never crosses my mind. It's not anything that I focus on, and I know you feel the same way. So focus and let your internal words and your conversations with yourself, let them be about the world that you want, not the world you don't want.
Right, because you get what you focus on. Energy goes where focus flows, and everything is energy, as you guys know. So it's Karen mentioned, it's hard to explain when you're talking about talking to this individual that thought about the relationship in a bad way.
Right.
It's funny. People get what we're talking about. I think people are nodding their heads. Yeah, of course.
Sure.
But it's hard to unlearn maybe what you've learned. I don't know. Where does this come in? Where people want to gossip, where they want to tear other people down so they put themselves ahead. Whatever it is, it's a learned behavior. You didn't come out of the womb thinking these thoughts, right? So you end up learning that either from your parents or teachers or society. I was just talking to Karen this morning about a show we like to watch, and it's comedy, and people are very sarcastic and talking about other people negatively. It's all funny, but I think some people get in this mode where it's kind of cool to talk about, like, what a terrible day this is this place of employment, this place
or
sucks,
even
or whatever.
putting themselves down. There's always that person who they tend to be the funny person who's always talking about themselves in a negative way, but in a way to make other people laugh. But the essence of that is very serious.
Well, it can be very damaging.
Right?
I mean, so you don't want to talk negatively about yourself. You don't want to talk negatively about the world around you, your job, the environment. Don't talk about the lack. Focus on where you want to go and collaborate with the universe on building your best life. Because if you, I can tell you firsthand, it's happened with us, and it's happened with a lot of our friends. You talk to people that have had success. I'm not talking about just business success. It's success in life with relationships.
Right.
It's even just embracing life around you, but
success with your own health, right?
Right.
And success with waking up, not just your physical health, which is one success, your mental health, your spiritual health. Everything starts right here.
And just as an example, as I'm looking outside, spiritual health is very simple. I'm taking Sugar out outside today, our dog, and the tree outside here that I'm looking at is the leaves are just coming out. So every day they're a little bit further out in the sun, which is just incredible. We have all these birds outside, and I told Karen as I'm going out, my face is in the sun. I'm checking the tree, I'm checking the birds, and really spending the time to absorb it. By the way, I'm only out there 5 minutes, but it sets me up for the day. And if you can go about your day looking at everything that way in a positive light, things start to happen in your favor constantly.
Right. When I loved how you said, we were talking about getting up first thing and taking Sugar Baby out. She's our best friend, and she can't take herself out.
No.
Yeah. So if you use your words impeccably and say, this is my best friend, and I can do this for her, instead of, oh, I have to get up and take the dog out now. Can you take the dog out?
Right.
You have a choice on both of those conversations.
Right.
So be impeccable with your words. I love it. It's the first agreement of the 4 agreements, which is a phenomenal book. If you haven't read it, check it out. It is a great book. I'm positive it's on Audible. I think we listened to it on Audible.
We definitely have an Audible.
Several times, and you know what?
Got that paperback too.
I'd like to actually listen to it again, because it's one of those books you can never, get that information into your mind enough.
Well, you're gonna listen to it again, because the agreement I just got from Joe and the crew, we're doing like a book club, so that's our first book. So we're gonna go through it, so you can join us on that, and we'll all chat about it, chapter by chapter.
Fantastic.
So good stuff.
Yeah, wishing you great health, abundant happiness, and an outrageous love from the nest at Copper Mountain.
And go ahead and subscribe if you haven't, but give us a like as well. We'd love to hear your comments.